Welcome to Woodtuning with Dick. You don't need to see my ugly mug again, you've seen it on other videos. So, what we have is a piece of very heavy Leadwood. I picked this up from Axminster's turning pile that they had while I was up there buying a new machine a little while ago. Lovely heavy stuff. I'm going to make another fusion bowl, and I'm going to use the Lignum Vitae that I cut in half that I was going to use for one of the other bowls, but it was too thin for what I needed, or I didn't accommodate it correctly, or whatevs. I'm going to cut a chunk out of this Leadwood and insert a bit of this. But what I've got to be careful of, quite a big split across the bottom here. There's a knot here. There's a knot with some splits in it there. Trim that down, cut a chunk out of that, flatten these, dead flat on the belt sander for every joining surface, dry fit it in the vise, and then get turning it. Oh, that is heavy. Funny old stuff. All that kind of whitish, funny old grain as well. It's not my first time with Leadwood, but it's been a while. I'll flatten that off and use that to insert in something else some other time. Another hard wood combination. These two, let's get those flattened off on the belt sander. Not the straightest of cuts, but oh well. And that, get that trimmed up as well. Huzzah! A complete blank! Right, that's those sanded flat. That, as I say, I can use as a spare for something else. Here's the bit I cut out. That goes up there flush enough. That's up there flush enough, making me a whole complete blank again. Just need to glue it together and clamp it. I also want to, out of the spare bits of Lignum Vitae here, I've got plenty of spare, but this one, I'm going to cut a blank, another two blanks out of the end here, away from any cracks and splits, and the knot. So, a blank there, another one there, and I'm going to turn those into three little feet. Won't be as high as that by any means, but three little feet on the bottom of my bowl. Make it something a little bit different to look at. So a quick dry fit. That's where I've decided it's going to go that way up, with the grain running like that. You've got the lovely lighter wood there, the greens running through in the varying size. We've got the crack. There's a very minor crack there at the bottom on the outside edge and on the outside edge of the bowl. So in theory, if I'm turning a round bowl, I'm going to take most of that crack out, which would be ideal. So dry fit done. Shove a bit of tight bond, original wood glue, into my crack. Tight. Yeah. No, I'm joking. God damn. Fortunately, it's water soluble. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Drill a hole for my screw chuck. I'm going to mark where my feet are going to go. Just a wee pencil mark there, because it's approximately where I'm going to drill the holes, 3 of them. 1 dead centre there, 2, 3. That marks, we get it off the lathe. So I want 1 dead middle here. That I can mark here. I want there, another one. There. The final one. There. In theory. Hey! Let's put a wee impression in there. Oh, that Lignum Vitae is tough stuff. And so is that Leadwood. Jeez. Okay. Now, I've still got a bit of sanding to go, and those may disappear a bit. The recesses for the feet are going to go in quite a long way, and I've got as much room as that to play with. So I may as well put a little drill hole back on the lathe. $7.97. That Leadwood's so hard it's barely taken the brand, but it has taken it, and you can just about make out the moth inside the circle, which is moth and mirror. Just going to level that front face off because it's going on the drill stand. I want that dead even. That's going to look really nice when it's done. Next thing, so I'm going to do the feet. Now I need to make 3 feet almost identical. That is going to look lovely. Now, that's Lignum Vitae. Very light browns and a couple of dark browns in there. There's going to be a lot of green go on. So while I'm making the feet, over the next couple of days in between doing other projects, I am going to take this indoors. This white line here will darken up over time. It is just basically burred up wood from the sanding. So taking it indoors, lighter environment, that might help it darken up. So bear with. Worst case scenario, that white line doesn't disappear with a bit of UV light. I'm actually going to bring that down a little further. You can see where the white line finishes just there. Just take a little bit more off that surface and refinish it on the outside. Fun. It's been indoors for a week. Not a particularly warm room, and I've got some micro cracks going on the outside edge here. Quite a few here, quite a few over here. What I'm going to do, because this white line hasn't disappeared as I suspected it would sort of darken up. On the front face, it only comes down about 5 mil. So I'm actually, with the bowl round this direction, I'm going to take this down a further 5 mil, 6 mil, till that white line disappears when I'm turning, but with the bowl this way round. So I'll be sanding to finish to here, and then maybe some hand finishing on the bottom, and turn the inside out. Can you see the greens have appeared now though, in the Lignum Vitae, having been exposed to UV light, not direct sunlight, just in a light room. Some lovely greens and browns going on in here. I'm going to put this white line down to just being a terrible join. All I can think is I maybe rounded the end of the Lignum Vitae when I was sanding it. And there's a gap here. It's irritating as all hell. The cracks are still in the Leadwood, I'm torn between scrapping it now. Do you know what I think I'm going to do? Get rid of that white line. I'm going to glue that onto a square of wood, nice and flat. Glue it on. I'm going to put it on the, once that's gone off, I'm going to put it on the bandsaw. I'm going to cut down these lines and this line here, and I'm going to insert a piece of veneer, a nice bright colour, something like Purple Heart or something very orange, something very distinctive, and then glue it all back together and then turn it again. I've coated this in CA glue where the cracks were. Gonna glue it on said piece of wood. I've had all these gorgeous veneers arrive. Look at this. Australian silly oak. Wouldn't you love a block of that to make something out of? That's stunning. Some gorgeous figured mahogany. See that? Wow. These are the three I've selected that I'm going to join together, creating what, 1.8mm of thickness. But you're going to have that continuous band of colour going around next to the Lignum Vitae. Cut the bowl up, as you can see here, on the bandsaw. I need to smooth these flat. I've got some of the Lignum Vitae there, some of the Leadwood. And then I think I'm going to have the black next to the Lignum Vitae and the lighter wood next to the dark Leadwood there, with those three bands of colour. And what I've got here is smoked eucalyptus, paddock and quilted maple. I know you're not going to appreciate any of this gorgeous grain pattern, but c'est la vie. This is what I'm planning to do. Actually, I think the order Australian silly oak, paddock and smoked eucalyptus is what I'm going to use. So what I need to do now is cut various sections out of these to glue in for the joins. Don't need to use all of each sheet, so let me trim those to size. I run this around the bandsaw, just connecting with the bowl here, just to try and get this round at the top to help me refine the center. And okay, it's going to be fun. It's reasonably centered, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than it was. Obviously, need to refinish all this outside, refinish the grip inside. But hey, take two, should be fun. There's my veneers. Hey, look at that. Oh, I'm well chuffed. Continuous band of colour. Very thin bands. I think that works really nicely. I think I'm going to get some Yorkshire grit on that. Get a really good finish before I wax it. 797. Shove a little bit of wax over that. That's the inside sanded to 120 grit. Gone through the Lignum Vitae there, so you can see the leadwood. I'm just going to do a nice deep U on the outside here for gilding. And you might see something quite clever with the gilding, or you might not. But wait and see. Okay, taking a small step back, there's some, you can still see them actually. There's some very minor cracks. I've coated it completely in CA glue, pushing the CA into the cracks. I finished it to 120. I put CA glue all over the inside, all over the rim here, which I'm very pleased with the shape. But those cracks are annoying me, or irritating me, and I can still see them here after the CA glue. I'm now going to take it indoors for several weeks, come back, see if those cracks have developed at all from the transition from a cold workshop to a dry indoors. Re-CA glue it, turn it and finish it, but really loving this. Okay, feet time. My experience with making feet the way I want to make them, which is going to be with a ball on the end and a flute up here, is that coming down just above the ball is the real weak point. And what I've done in the past is broken the ball off and had to re-glue it on and refinish and lots of messing around. There's something slightly different. I'm going to use some 8mm stainless rod, just because I happen to have some stainless rod laying around. I'm going to cut this to the appropriate lengths later on. I'm going to put this on the lathe, turn it down, turn the outside down, turn a chuck grip on both ends, hold on one end with just the chuck, put the drill on the tailstock and drill up through, not quite to the end. Take it off, turn it round, grip on my other chuck grip and turn quite confidently down to a maximum of 10mm in the bottom there, because that's an 8mm. That'll leave me a 1mm tolerance either way, but I'll keep measuring and make sure I leave enough for sanding as well. But that's the plan anyway. Now the difficulty comes with making 3 of these almost identical. And that's turned out quite nicely. The shaft here is 24.5mm. Got a 25mm Forstner bit to make the holes in the bottom of the bowl. I'm not going to make the holes until I've finished turning all of these, just in case there's a slight variance in height. Lovely shimmer in this Lignum Vitae. I'm going to try and put that on the outside of the bowl, so if that foot is facing you, you'll get that lovely light colour. And a lot of this will go green. Okay, I best get on and make some more feet. Okay, I've trimmed the top down. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3 little feetsies, almost exactly the same length. This is the next nerve-wracking bit. I've tilted the bed so that I've got the high point of the marked point on the base at the very top, and so the feet are going to splay out to the side. Okay, so I've finished the inside, sander sealed it, just going to put a coat of wax on, as you do. Next job is gluing the feet in, which is going to be fun. I've leveled it all out. I put the feet in on a temporary basis. Not now, they're not there. You can see they're not there. I've done a test run, as it were. Level the bowl out so the top of the bowl is nice and level. Next you'll see it, well, yeah, it's not worth me recording, putting the feet on. So next you'll see it final finished pictures. Look at the way that Lignum Vitae is shining. Really lovely grain the way it sweeps around the bowl there. As for the gilding, I've asked her if she can just gild just the leadwood. So you keep all this colour and just put the gold, or champagne gold, or whatever she chooses, in this just up here and that little bit there. That might look quite nice. Check for any imperfections. It's looking pretty sweet. I'm sure it's been done before with these veneers, but I love it. I just really like the way that's turned out. Lovely.